Hey everybody, Jim and Eric here with a Rewind Theater on the latest and final Amazing Spider-Man 2 trailer. Now, we have
Trailer, 17 of 47, I believe.
we have done several rewinds so far, so we kind of want to delve into some of the stuff from this trailer that we haven't really had a chance to talk about yet, starting with Peter and Harry Osborn. We want to say up front there's going to be some spoilers in this discussion.
Yeah, because Jim has been lucky enough to see a good chunk of this movie at a press event they did.
Yeah, I've seen 33 minutes of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now, Harry Osborn and Peter Parker, we find out, have known each other since what? Childhood?
Yeah, since little kids, because he wasn't in the first movie, but this is quickly establishing they do have a history. They do have that background as friends that people have come to know. I want to remind people, by the way, in actual Marvel continuity, he didn't meet Harry till college, but the Ultimate Comics established them as old friends, and now every version since has taken that.
Yeah, and also that,
together.
I mean, Peter Parker's dad worked at Oscorp, Richard Parker. Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting here with the carnival, the merry-go-round behind them. Maybe they hung out here as kids or something.
Well, there's definitely the idea of them reconnecting. If they haven't seen each other since they were little kids, you've got the carnival, and then you've got the rock skipping scene that they're kind of picking up where they left off, I think is definitely the idea.
Yeah, and then I find it interesting here when you scrub forward a little bit, you see them down here by the waterfront, you said skipping rocks. We're going to see stuff later in the movie of them down by the waterfront, the clock tower and the pylons. We'll talk about that. I wonder if this isn't, thematically ties in somehow, like this is close by.
And then, of course, it also raises the question of, because he's this little hint here of his powers, is what does Harry know at this point? Because it's hard not to think he figures it all out soon. But
yeah.
What does he know? What does Norman Osborn know? What does the company know about his powers? Do they know everything?
Well, the 33 minutes of footage that I saw open with, again, spoilers, but, we know Richard and Mary Parker from the first movie basically had to abandon Peter in a hurry, and his dad was going to blow the whistle on stuff that Oscorp was up to, the experiments they were doing. And so everything is tied into that, and the movie opens with finally showing us what happened to them, and that's the plane crash that you see in this trailer.
Which we heard about in the first
yes.
movie.
And in the comics they died in a plane crash, but this is giving it more of he here clearly is already into the they're onto me. They know everything about my life.
But also, I think it's also picking up where his father left off. If his father was investigating, something happening, something bad at Oscorp, here he is doing the same thing his father did.
And he finds the father's old lab, including his, and now, of course, Ravencroft Institute, the asylum from the comics.
From the Spider-Man comics, definitely sort of the Spider-Man version of Arkham. If you, like me, were a big fan of DeMatteis's run on Spider-Man in the 90s, he loved Ravencroft, used it quite a bit for a lot of the characters and stories there.
Now, in this sequence, we'll see here, you can tell that Harry has been roughed up. Well, again, spoilers from that 33 minutes of footage I saw. This sequence is Harry going into Ravencroft to bust out Electro, and he's making him a deal. Harry has been somehow pushed out of Oscorp, and he wants his revenge, which is kind of similar to the Goblin's stuff from the first Spider-Man movie where, he takes out all the generals and
yeah.
But in this one, he's like, I need you to get me into Oscorp, and I can get you out of Ravencroft. And it's not until he basically has to plead with Electro, because what we don't see off screen are the SWAT guys coming to get Harry.
Okay.
So something bad has already gone down
right.
at Oscorp.
Harry's already in trouble.
And so basically they've been keeping Electro on ice, if you will. And here is actually Peter's. This sequence here that's Peter's Spidey senses going off. He's looking over at, in the distance is Times Square, and this is where the big Electro attack, the first time Electro kind of goes public.
Their big first fight.
And this is him talking to Gwen Stacy, who's, obviously, basically what I want to say is that there has been a 1-year jump between the Rhino action set piece that we see in the trailer
Which opens the movie, right?
Which opens the movie and is intercutting with their high school graduation. Well, she is telling Peter here, like, you know, he broke up with her because he's trying to remember his promise to George Stacy, like, you know, keep my daughter safe. But she's telling him she is going off to London, that she's got a scholarship to Oxford that it looks like she's gonna get. So
gives you bad flashbacks to the comics and the affair between Gwen and Norman that they said happened when she went overseas that I do not think they're going to delve into in this film series.
And also, I really do think that you know, it doesn't bode well for her. Let's.
Well, yeah, everyone's wondering about that. That's
when you make plans for your future and you're the class valedictorian giving the speech about.
And your name is Gwen Stacy.
Yes, and you wear that trench coat. Let's just go back here. We start to see more of the Goblin. In this trailer, less Electro, more Goblin, some more of Rhino.
Yeah, this is very Harry-centric trailer.
Yeah, and this is almost like this is the Dr. Jekyll kind of thing here, where we see the transformation. We're going to get more of Rhino too in a little bit here. I want to show you coming up here. This is actually that scene I'm telling you about where they make their bargain. Mm-hmm. The Rhino.
And, you know, we hear Chris Cooper's voice once in this trailer. Norman Osborn is alive, although we know he's dying from the first movie. And clearly, Harry becomes the Goblin first in this series. The question is that, you know, setting up Norman in a later film really becoming the Green Goblin we all know? Or is it just completely different and Harry will be the one and only Goblin?
And he's not flying on a snowboard
No
this time.
Snowboard this time.
This looks much more kind of Goblin-like and pointy and everything.
Yeah, much more like the comic book version of the glider than what Harry rode in Spider-Man 3.
Here we get another good look here at the Rhino, but we're going to have an even better shot of him coming up. But there you can see Paul Giamatti's face as Alexei Sitsevich.
Mm-hmm.
And the opening sequence is just a car chase. He does not actually put on the Rhino mech suit in that sequence. So this happens at some later point in the movie. Rhino is somehow busted out and gets a hold of this mech suit.
I mean, definitely this trailer is pushing the scale of the movie more than any of the others. I know there's the concern is there too much going on, but you can certainly say there's nothing going on.
Yeah, now coming up here, we're going to get a good shot of... Now look right there, Spidey's left wrist. He was just zapped by Electro. His web shooter, because he no longer has organic web shooters like in the Raimi films, has been fried. Mm-hmm. So he has to save all these people from getting electrocuted on this metallic... basically stands by zapping them with his webs and saving them.
Which is very cool, you know, especially, you know, this series using the organic, not using the organic.
And that's a really
shooters.
Unfortunate looking shot when you look at it like that.
Or very fortunate, depending on how you look at it. I said nothing earlier. I apologize to everyone for that statement.
Let's see here. Doubts about being Spider-Man.
Yeah. But I do like a lot them using the mechanical web shooters and kind of a lot of different ways. It was such a important part of the comic books.
See, again, this is the place I was telling you about earlier when they were skipping stones. I wonder if, you know, and there was a bridge nearby, if it was looking out over at this place.
And, of course, since Oscorp has got their hands in everything, is this Oscorp facility that we're seeing here.
Yeah. But it's just weird. Let's look back here. Look at this old kind of probably 19th century clock tower and then all these modern day electric pylons.
Yeah, I was saying, I wonder if it's one of those things, we know you watch the DVD extra features and they always say how their idea was it was this old place that Norman Osborn bought and added to.
It was our family's first purchase.
Right. And that probably won't be said in the movie, but that was their thinking behind it.
Now let's...
a sequence a lot of people are talking about here. Gwyneth Carroll.
This is Richard and Mary Parker's plane. You'll see there, that's her and the seat. There's something, there's more to the sequence, but I won't spoil it all for you. Wait, coming up here, let's get a good shot at the Goblins. It's just, now, he's got a little Cronenberg...
Yeah, it's interesting.
Kind of
this is such a different version of the Goblin because you've got the classic comic book wearing a suit version, and then you've got the ultimate version where Norman turns into a big green Hulk-like monster. Here, Harry is obviously physically transformed. His eyes look different to the pointy ears, but he's also got this sort of cyborg thing going on.
Yeah, and his flesh has been altered. He's got metal implants, and then he's got this kind of funky knife.
It
Very
almost
Klingon.
looks like the glider, you know. Yeah, it's true though.
And even like, I mean, even look at the curves and the points on different parts of the armor. This looks like the Klingon knife that killed David Marcus in Star Trek 3.
The refs is influenced by it. But yeah, very different, this sort of mech cyborg version of Goblin than anything we've seen before.
And we just want to point out here too, in this shot, there is Gwen still hanging on down there.
Yeah, so this is obviously, this has got to be the sort of classic, can he get to Gwen in time while Harry's trying to kill him?
And then we see
sequence.
even more of the suit, the way it looks like it's fused into him.
Yeah, that definitely seems to be what's, you know, a sort of strange mixture of the fusion of the suit and the physical transformation.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. This is the final Amazing Spider-Man 2 trailer, so thanks for watching all of our rewinds.
Hey, I'm excited to see this movie.
Oh, wait. We got one last thing. Here's a good shot of the Rhino on all fours.
All four legs. Controversial, but I think he kind of looks pretty fun there, actually.
And also, you know, rhinos do walk on four legs. So
they do, indeed.
If you're going to do Rhino in a movie, I think this is probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, he's about to get Spidey'd.
All right, folks. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.